Hi everyone. So I've just set up my laptop really quickly to come online and talk to you. So what I wanted to say is you will probably remember if you followed my work back in, I think it was about November. The 9 clearly said to me, I'm just going to, sorry. The 9 clearly said to me, and this was at the time that we had gone into the second going back to the houses. Before we came out of that and then went into a tier system, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and somewhere in 5. I'm talking about the way that the going back to the dwellings is being presented in the UK, specific to the UK where I live. The 9 said, when we went into the second going back to the dwellings, they said this to me very, very clearly. And when they speak to me this clearly, it's like somebody's actually talking in my ear and I can literally hear their voice, like you standing right next to me. So what they said was, the first going back to the dwellings, so this is the word down of the lock variety. The first going back to the dwellings, from their perspective, it worked, meaning what they wanted to achieve, they achieved with the first going back to the dwellings, which was part of an overall long-term plan. The second going back to the dwellings, it worked, but a dent was made in the overall plan to the point where it pushed back some of their plans and they had to make detours and change things. That wasn't enough to break it down. And what they said to me is, when you hear the words third going back to the dwellings, that is when everything will fall apart. And it will coincide with what is happening in the US surrounding the American competition with Mr. T. So this is what they've been telling me since November. It may have been a bit before that, and I've been putting that out there in interviews and videos and on social media. And over the last few weeks, when we went into a tier 4 in the UK, people were writing to me saying, is this it, Magenta? Is this what the 9 meant? Because you're now virtually in a going back to the dwellings. And I was saying, no, not yet. They tell me it's close, but it's not yet. They were very specific about the words. They didn't say when you go back to the dwellings and when it seems like you have to go back to the dwellings. They said, when you hear the words third going back to the dwellings, down of the lock variety, from the people that are in the place where they make all the rules, Mr. J and his team, when you hear them say those words, that is when everything falls apart. And it will coincide with what is happening in the US regarding the American competition. So I am now making this video quickly today to let you know, and I'm sure you know this if you're in the UK, but if you're not in the UK, you may not know that Mr. J has just announced a third national going back to the dwellings. It's not a tier system anymore. So I've been waiting for these words, and I knew that today that there would be more restriction. And I was saying to a few of my friends, I really hope that they say third going back to the dwellings and not tier 5, which is exactly the same thing, because it was the words. The 9 was specific about the wording. So I am obviously not pleased about this situation. It is not going to be easy for thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But I am very, very pleased to hear these words finally, because the 9 was so specific and this message was so important when it was given to me. And what is also so important is they did say this will coincide with what occurs with the American competition. And the reason why they used the UK as a benchmark is because of 2 reasons. One, I live here. So I'm getting the messages and the energy downloaded to me regarding the UK. 2, the UK and the US are in direct parallel to one another as a a bridge between one another, sort of highlighted amongst the globe regarding what's going on here. The reason for that is due to the decision that was made a few years ago here in the UK to leave the big group. That there was a competition over here, and everyone had to write down what they wanted to happen in the competition. And this word begins with B and it's got an X in it. And so that was one thing. And then Mr. T coming in over in the US. Both of these things were huge spokes in the wheel of the dark plan. They were not supposed to happen. And they were pivotal in going against the dark plan. So the two countries are highlighted and in parallel to one another. So that's another reason why the Nine are using the UK as a benchmark for what's happening in the US, and it's coinciding naturally and organically. And it's amazing really that they said it would coincide, because today is the 4th of January 2021, and in 2 days we are going to be in the 6th of January, which is when big things are occurring in the US regarding Mr. T. So I won't go into that specifically. I think people know what's happening there. But the fact that we've gone into the 3rd, going back to the dwellings, is a highlight. It's a message to everyone in the US and across the whole world, because all eyes on America. It's like saying, this has happened now, so we're now in alignment with that coinciding, meaning something big is going to happen on the 6th, and now. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing because this is the beginning of everything crashing down, everything collapsing, everything falling, everything we've known about for so many years, and everything we've known about since the very beginning of the pathogen. For those who've been following this story and have known about this story, many for most of their lives, but certainly for those that have been following this story since March of 2020. So what this is going to look like now, energetically, I am being shown, is there's so much light this year that wasn't there last year. That light is freedom and truth coming to the fore. That doesn't mean that everything is going to be plain sailing and that everything is going to be easy. It's not going to be, and it certainly isn't going to be for those people who are still asleep to the truth. For them, there is a crash down of their reality, their entire reality, everything falling about their ears. The feelings that they will go through are shock and disbelief, and like they just can't believe that this is happening and that everything that they've ever known. It's like the rug is being pulled out under their feet. The roots that they'd put down, the grounding that they had held, and everything that had kept them sane and focused is taken away. But for those who are aware of what's going on, it's a very different perspective, which is finally, after a hijacked reality for thousands of years, finally we are moving into the uncovering of all of this darkness. The truth comes to the fore and is shown to the world, which people in the truth and light worker communities have waited for so long, and have stood alone with this knowing, desperately trying to share the knowing and sharing the truth with others. And finally, this is now coming to the fore in front of everyone. So this is a real benchmark. What's just happened, literally, Mr. J in the UK has announced the 3rd going back to the dwelling. So I wanted to tell everyone, rather than messaging everybody individually, because I'm already getting messages asking, is this it? Is this it? The answer is yes, this is it. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to crash overnight, but it does mean that things will move quickly, certainly quicker than they have done before. There's a lot to come out. There's a lot that needs to change and shift, and a lot that needs to collapse and be rebuilt. So there's a lot going on, but this is the start. Basically, this 3rd going back to the dwellings in the UK won't work in the way that they intend it to. It's almost like they push and it worked. They push and it worked, but not the way they wanted it to. And there was a bit of backlash, but it worked. And then they push even more and it doesn't work. That's where we are now. This will be the huge eye-opener, the huge great awakening, not just for the UK, but for many places across the globe, because other places are going to follow suit, because the plan is being orchestrated by the same group of people that all have the same agenda. So from that perspective, this is good news. From the perspective of those who are aware and awake, this is good news. And we have these two parallels going on, the UK and what is happening here as a benchmark, showing the rest of Earth that this is the beginning of the collapse. And then all eyes on America for what happens over there, which, as I said, is coinciding with what's happening here. All eyes on America, which is where everything is going to go down pretty much now, today. And as we know, we have this big event on the 6th. So this is where things start to fall apart, everyone. This is where the truth comes out. This is everything that we've been waiting for. As I said, it's not going to happen overnight, and we must remain grounded. It's very, very important, because it's very easy for us to be excited and think, yes, at last, we are going into this period where the truth is revealed and the darkness collapses. Remain grounded, remain steady. Many people will need you. They will be lost. They will be unanchored, destabilized. They will need assistance. They will need focus. They won't be able to find it themselves. They will be looking to you, those individuals that have been trying to show them the truth for so many years. They will be turning to you now and saying, goodness me, you were right. You knew all along. What can I do? Please help me. So stay grounded, stay strong for those people. But can you quietly find some excitement? Yes. We're not home and dry yet. There's a lot going on, especially with Mr. T. And Mr. T, his movement now, putting him back into the most powerful piece on the chessboard, getting the queen back on the chessboard, if you will, that's crucial. Will it happen? Yes, it will. I have no doubts of that. Absolutely no doubts. Everything the 9 have said to me is coming to fruition. And for them to have said that this would coincide, well, there's 2 days in it, with the announcement of the 3rd going back to the dwellings and the movement into the Mr. T situation on the 6th. So I just wanted to make this video to just say to you, yes, this is what the 9 meant. It's now, it's here. We can start having a quiet, confident inner celebration, because we are finally moving into a situation where this planet becomes free, where this planet becomes sovereign. Remember, this is going on inside of you. It is not something occurring outside of you. This is your journey. You are the only one here from that perspective. So hold fast to that knowing. There will be much guidance coming in now, many, many messages coming in to those who are standing in that flow. And I'm assured that the 9 will be coming in with guidance as we go through these steps. But I did want to come on today, now, and just tell you that this is what the 9 were talking about. It's here, it's today. The UK have now gone into the 3rd, going back to the dwellings, which is a benchmark. It is a signal. It is a sign. It is aligning up with the US and what's going on there. So it's a pivotal, exciting point. And this has become all the more clear since we went through the 21st of December 2020 and the bifurcation. And we now really see the bifurcation, because what we're seeing here, and it will be the same in the US and across the world and throughout Europe, in Australia, hugely, and multiple other places, what we're seeing here is a bifurcation of perspective, where you have one group of people who are very quietly hopeful and confident, because they know that all of this signifies the crashing and collapsing of the old, the reveal of that which has been kept hidden and in secrecy and in darkness and in nefarious negativity, and the rise of the light and the true sovereign power held in integrity, that which is ordained by God, if you will, by the divine. Those people are standing in that perspective, and they are more unified than ever. And that is so important. The unity there within the awake community is bigger than it's ever been on this planet right now. We are one family, and we are held together in love. We love one another. We hold that unity because we know the magnitude of what we have been through and what is coming and what we are standing within. And the only way we can go through this is together as a unity. And it's there. And we're going to start to see that manifest physically as we see large numbers of people coming together imminently. And we know that that's occurring on the 6th in the US, but other places too. And then the other side of the bifurcation, as I said, is this absolute disbelief, this utter shock, this despair, and basically the complete polar opposite of emotion. You have some people in the middle who are just waking up, who are thinking, this can't be right, there's something not right here. And they are wavering and learning about the other side. So this is this sort of the pathway to the Great Awakening that's about to occur. This huge Great Awakening that's now being triggered by what's happening in the UK and in the US and in all the other countries across the planet. It's global. So I just wanted to come on and make this video and talk to you about this, because it's an important, pivotal benchmark moment, a sign, a symbol, a presentation, and it's a fulfillment of a prediction or a prophecy that the 9 told me. It's here today. So we now sit back and, well, we don't sit back, we continue with our action and continue with our focus and our higher frequency, and we hold that energy. But we can now also sit back and watch this play out. And remember, you will have guidance and you will know what to do in the moment when you get that guidance. You will, if you are in that connection and you're in that group of awake individuals, you're in the positive bifurcation, you will be guided through the next steps. And I know it's easy to say, don't be afraid, and having fear is normal. But if you can superimpose that with confidence and knowing this is meant to be, and it could happen no other way, the truth has to be presented to the world. And now we are in the time where that is going to happen. And it's today, it's now, it's here. So thank you very much for listening to this video. And I send you all much love, as always. Take care. See you again soon. Bye.